Welcome everyone, friends and furs of all species. I'm Dezerhane, and we're back with another episode of Roman's Christmas. Now, we're doing really good. Fingers crossed. Our good boy Cain, boom, he's dead. It looks like someone's wrong key, because they said the key was sticking. So it has to be someone else's key, not Cain's, that was sticking into the thing. Because Sarin specifically said each lock and key were custom made, so only one will fit into that specific one. But it's so subtle in the teeth of the key that a normal person would not notice. Only Sarin would notice. So, I'm thinking that's going to be very important. Let's see. Anyway, we have all the evidence. I'm thinking it's either Sean, Solar, or Nisus, or Nixit, whatever that wolf's name is. Well, let's see. Let's get this going. After a thorough search, I asked everyone to come to the hall for the trial. I've gathered everyone here. Is it time for the famous parlor scene? I can only hope the murderer is so easy to point out. The problem is I only have the clues available, so I need your help solving this case. Oh, I knew he was gonna be happy. But the criminal is one of us. Surely they'll try to distract or mislead you. That's exactly what I want. The more the murderer tries to whitewash the events, the simpler my job becomes. Let's start with the simplest problem first. Is this case suicide or homicide? Oh. Is it? The first mystery is the dagger in Cain's chest. Inais, is this Cain's dagger? I've never seen him with a dagger like that. He usually borrows my knife to cut carrots. If this knife doesn't belong to Cain, I have to ask a question which no one's going to answer. Whose dagger is this? Or better question, who just happened to lose a fancy dagger recently? Roman was right, nobody gotta say shit. Oh, they're freaking out. Like, they're sweating, so I'm guessing one of them. Nobody answered, of course. I looked around, everyone was avoiding my eyes, trying not to look directly at me. The only advantage to being a detective is everyone will think you have the ability to spot lies at a glance. But if they don't talk, you can't just make them speak. Well, at least we can be sure that this dagger isn't Cain's. Next, our second mystery, the lock. I pushed the handle forcefully at the time and it didn't move. The door couldn't be opened. Could the lock be jammed? Why wouldn't I check whether the handle and the lock work when I do my daily inspection? So the door was really locked when the incident happened. Ooh, locked room mystery. Right, until Sean crashed the door. Fortunately, the lock is still in good condition. I'll fix everything after this is over. The Cain really locked the door and committed suicide. I can't believe it. But the dagger is hard to explain. Yeah, if I was going, how would Cain come to possession of that dagger? If he was going to commit suicide, well, look at this logically. If he was going to commit suicide, the best time for him to have done so, when he was in the kitchen making the vegetable stew, if he took a regular kitchen knife. If it was a regular kitchen knife, I would be inclined to believe it might have been suicide. But because it's a fancy dagger that he wouldn't have regular access to, I think that crosses it off the list. Maybe he kept the dagger hidden and didn't let anybody know he had it. That's not true. There's another problem with the lock. Oh, from which side is the door locked? Okay, yeah. Right. Sarin, I'd like to confirm one thing. Spit it out. The door could be locked from both sides, correct? Sure. Naturally, we'd assume the most obvious possibility But Kane's door was not locked from the inside. It was locked from the outside. It was locked from the outside. Wait a moment, there's something strange. Oh. What? What? After opening the door, Sean and I were standing by the door. Sean suggested that we should have a look at the scene as to give a better testimonies. So we checked the lock one by one, and the keys was in the lock inside the room. That's right, I saw that too, but it's been a while since the door opened. During the chaos, anything could have happened. Such as the murderer moving the key from the outside to the inside. But I was beside the bed the moment it opened. Why didn't you tell me that earlier? I thought you already knew that. Ask me next time. Fine! I look fine, okay? Like, it seems the door is locked from the inside, but something smells fishy. What's strange about the lock? Oh. Are we for real coming down to luck? Okay, Kane's door was shut. Kane's key was inside the room. The key was sticky. So weird. Why is there something like glue in the lock? Oh, I thought it was the key, not glue. Maybe it's this still from lunch. Clearly it was sabotaged somehow. Though we didn't know the method. We can assume the door was locked from the inside for now. But we can't exclude the idea that the culprit locked the door from the inside, then escaped the room by some method. Besides, Kane didn't have any reason to kill himself. He told me he found a new job this afternoon. He even said to me that he'll be managing his own restaurant after he saved up enough money. Aww. So he didn't have the state of mind to consider suicide. And you don't just commit suicide on Christmas. Actually, I think that's the #1 time, at least in America, where people kill themselves. Like holidays. Maybe that's a stretch. Thusly, the possibility of suicide is infinite candles. We cannot deny the possibility of homicide now. Isn't it better to say that it's actually a homicide? Now we begin to narrow the circle of suspects. At first, we can exclude all the people downstairs. So, who was in the hall at that time? Oh, shit. Okay. If I remember, there's Zarin, Heron, Anox, Ines, Thrivey, Peter, and Vincel. And Sean, Marcus Nunick, Marquis Sola, Roman and myself were upstairs. Pardon moi, but Sola, Sean, and I were in my room. Shouldn't we be excluded? The problem is that Elegant and I were in her room face to face. According to you, nobody is suspicious at all. Ah, I'm sorry for my impropriety, Marquis Harlock. Sounds wrong. I can feel your enthusiasm for investigation. For the time being, we'll regard everyone upstairs as suspects. These are Elegant, the Marquis couple, Sean, and me. I would like each of you to go over what you were doing when the incident happened in as much detail as you can. I want to hear Sean's testimony first. Good, I love doing his voice. Where should I begin? When you first went upstairs. Oh, he's sweating. Because the Marquis called for me, I went upstairs. Generally speaking, it was about the time for the Marquis' medicine to help him sleep. I heard loud noises as I was passing through, so after I prepared the medicine, I went out to see what was going on. And I found you all crowded around the locked door, so I knocked it open. Something smells fishy. Maybe I'll press harder for further information. Ask what? Oh, shit. How you summon Sean? Speaking specifically, how did they call you up? I went upstairs when I heard the bell ring. That's how they always summon me. Ask what kind of medicine? 1 drop of lavender and citrus oil added to water or wine. It was prescribed by the Marquis' personal physician. Yeah, I remember the mug of lavender. Sounds like a pretty mild medicine. It's because it's just a slight nervous tension. It's not supposed to be potent. What noise? Just like the sound of heavy objects crashing to the ground. How did you know the door was locked? Because you were dragging and pulling at the handle, I assumed that it must be locked. Okay. Please add the things you've mentioned to your testimony. Okay. Please testify again. I heard the sound of the Marcus ringing bell, then went upstairs. Generally speaking, I prepare Marcus' sleeping medicine. It's a mix of lavender and citrus oil and wine or water. A Marcus doctor told me to add 2 drops of oil into water or wine, then give the Marcus to drink. I heard something like heavy objects crashing into the ground, so I went and had a look. And then I found you all crowding around the locked door, so I crashed it. Wait, I think there's something strange in your testimony. Which evidence is contradicting with Sean's testimony? Yeah, it's kind of out of order, right? Because what Peter heard. You said that you went upstairs before hearing the ring, then heard a loud noise. Yes, is there a problem? Please recall Peter's testimony. Peter mentioned he heard several small noises and loud noises, then a ring. Whose memory is wrong? Yours or Peter's? Or one of you is lying? And in fact, I didn't hear the ring. Around this time, I usually start making the medicine. Really? It's just mixing 2 drops of stuff together. Anyway, I went upstairs before hearing the bell. I was fixing the medicine in my room. After hearing a loud noise, I went out and heard the bell ring. So I went to the Marcus's room to put down the medicine, then went outside again. That actually makes sense. When was the prescription given? About 2 years ago. My master takes it all the time. Thank you for your help. May I ask what you were doing when the incident happened, Marquis? It's my duty to cooperate with your investigation after such a terrible incident. We were in my room the entire time, pajamas on, sitting in bed. We were preparing to retire for the evening, so I rang the bell to call Sean. I heard something strange, but I couldn't identify through the door. When Sean ran out hurriedly after he put the medicine down, I realized something must have happened. Usually he waits silently until I finish the medicine, then left after cleaning up the mug and blowing the candle out. Something smells fishy. Maybe I'll press for further information. What? Nitrous. Changing into pajamas, I don't mean to offend, but changing clothes is really suspicious behavior. Oh wow, he is pissed. We were preparing for bed. We also changed back into our earlier clothes. As you can see, we are quite immaculate. Sorry, I may have overthought. When did Sean come inside? I don't distrust you, I just want to cover all bases. How long did it take for Sean to arrive after ringing the bell? After I rang the bell within 30 seconds. Is that right, mon petit radiant mon soleil? I don't know what that fucking means. Yes, prompt and reliable as usual. Could you please tell me about what you heard in detail? I'm not sure, it sounded much too muffled. What is the noise? Can you remember if the sounds occurred before or after you rang the bell? I cannot remember clearly. What about you, mon chéri? Oh, it seemed like... Oh, forgive me, stress plays such havoc with my memory, I don't recall. Okay. Please add what you mentioned to the testimony. As you wish, Monsieur Detective. Please testify again. We were in our room the entire time, having changed into pajamas and preparing for bed. Our formal dress is clean without any blood. When it was time I needed to sleep, I rang the bell to call on Sean. He came within 30 seconds. I heard a muffled sound, but cannot remember if it was before I rang the bell or after. When Sean ran out hurriedly after he put the medicine down, I realized something had happened. Usually he waits silently until I drink, then leaves after cleaning the cup and blowing out the candles. Let me think, something isn't right. Which evidence contradicts with Lunic and Solar's testimony. The glass on Lunic's nightstand was half full with pale cider, not wine or water. Nothing doubtful, I think. It may be safe to assume we exhausted this line of questioning. I think so too. Thank you for your cooperation. Then who are you asking next, Monsieur Detective? The next one is Elegant. What are you doing at that time? Me, I was standing right in front of you. You came in, I shut the door, and I inquired if you were wearing a bell. That should be the Marcus bell, I think. Then there was a crashing sound and a loud noise. After which you opened the door and forcibly ran out. I followed you and saw you trying to open the door to Kane's room. Something smells fishy. Maybe I'll press further. What? You have no proof that you were in your own room the entire time I was downstairs. Correct. She rolled. I love how sassy she is, even though she's a bitch. Well, that was direct. You're welcome to doubt my testimony if you wish. I cannot actually prove that. Are you sure you heard the bell ringing? I don't remember hearing it myself. Maybe you were distracted by the sound of the door closing. But my hearing is also much better than yours. Oh, ow. Order of noises. So the sequence of sounds, can you go over them? As you wish. First there's the ringing bell, then our conversation, then the sound of crashing, followed by all the loud sounds. So the bell was first. This is getting weird. Ask what? Name list. About the notebook with our names. As suspicious as this will make me sound, I cannot disclose its purpose at this time. Okay. Please add what you've mentioned to the testimony. As you wish. Please testify again. I cannot prove my behavior before you went upstairs, but I was standing in front of you at that time. The ringing should have occurred when I shut the door, so you missed it. Then in sequence there was the ringing, then smashing sound. After which you opened the door and forcibly ran out. I followed you and saw you trying to open the door to Kane's room. I know the book of names makes me suspicious, but I cannot tell you its purpose now. So, yeah, Peter said... Right? Oh, Same question. Peter, Sean, and you heard the ring and small noises, but everyone's testimony about the order of the sounds is different. Peter heard the small noise first, then the bump, then the ring. You heard the ring first, then the small noise, then the loud noise. Sean only heard the loud noise and a ring. Who is lying? Nobody lied. I see. Nobody lied. Then it's a suicide, isn't it? Nobody lied, but nobody could describe the whole thing. What if there was more than one ringing? Although I didn't hear anything, stupid ears. Well, mine are made of foam, so... For example, the first is a ringing, then the crashing, followed by a loud sound, and the ringing again. In this way, the sequences that 3 people heard should be correct. The number of bell rings is the key to solving the case. Yes. But why would the Marcus need to ring the bell again? Unless his faithful servant didn't answer when the first bell came out. Unless his faithful servant didn't answer when the first bell ring came out. Well, I didn't want to say it because it would make the Marquis suspicious. But you have thought this stage, I have to explain. Okay. And in fact, I heard 2 ringings. The first time I entered to prepare the medicine. The second time I didn't understand, but I still came in. Before I had a chance to ask the reason, I heard a loud sound from outside. By the way, when I first answered the bell, I only saw the Marcus sitting on the bed without Marcus Herlock's present. Oh? Something smells fishy. Maybe I'll press for further information. And bell rang. So you heard 2 ringing. I came in the room twice. Second entry. Could you please tell me the exact situation when you entered the second time? I opened the door and saw Master Lunic and Mistress Solar sitting together. He was breathing heavily and he was sweating a great deal. Okay. You said you didn't see the Marquis the first time. No, only the Marquis. Are you sure that he wasn't just hiding in the corner or someplace you didn't notice? I'm sure. Alright, so that makes him. Please add what you mentioned to the testimony. Okay. Please testify again. In fact, I heard 2 ringings and answered twice. I prepared the medicine the first time. But the Marcus was in the room. The second time, I found the Marcus in the room, breathing heavily and sweating profusely. Before I had a chance to ask the reason, I heard a loud sound from outside. Hold on. Oh, hey! Sean! Hey. Please calm down, don't hurt the witness. As I step between Sean and Lunic, Sean seized the opportunity to retreat. Monsieur Detective, I order you to step aside. This is a personal matter. But, which book should you quote to stop Lunic? Oh, ooh, ah, shit, I don't know. Okay, Helios Code, would that make Detective, I'll say Detective's Code. Detective Code Article 42 stipulates that detectives must prevent harm to witnesses caused by honest testimony. As a detective, I don't want my witnesses afraid to testify honestly because of intimidation or fear. Can we get Sarin to come in here? He's the big buff dragon. Come on. His testimony is a lie. If you think he is lying, you can choose to tell the truth. Very well, I shall do as you ask. I'm listening. Indeed, I rang the bell twice. I did not say so earlier because I did not want my servant to become a suspect. I consider it recompense for 10 years of lost service. But now that he has betrayed me, I will expose his lies sans partie. He didn't come at all when I rang the bell the first time. He came in after I rang the bell the second time after some time. Something smells fishy. Maybe I'll press harder for more information. Okay. Didn't want Sean to get suspected. Why did you lie the first time? As I said, I did not wish my servant to become a suspect. If he was arrested, who will serve me? I was about to say, that's nice, but I know that there's some shit because you're rich. And then he's like, who will serve me? Well, there it is. But, oi, I know it was wrong. Please continue your asking. Disloyalty? Why do you think Sean betrayed you? His testimony doesn't have any truth and slanders my good name. Do you have any method to expose his lies? Oh, my word's not enough. As if I'd accept that. I mean, bro is going the Hulk with, like, red eyes instead of, like, green shit. Didn't show up the first time. Sean didn't come in when your first rang? Wait, why else would I need to ring again if he came? Maybe you're influenced by my speculation? No. And at the second time, is your latest testimony true? Absolutely true. Without any exaggeration because of personal emotion. I swear it upon my title. Okay. Please add what you've mentioned to your testimony. As you wish, Monsieur Detective. Please testify again. Indeed, I rang the bell twice. I did not say so earlier because I did not want my servant to become a suspect. I know I was wrong, but I didn't think about it too much at the time. I consider it recompense for 10 years of lost service. His testimony is absolutely a lie, I swear it upon my title. When I first rang the bell, he did not come, so I rang it again. When he came in after I rang the bell the second time after a while, I have no idea. Both of their testimonies are pretty weak. Even if I asked Solar to testify as Lunac's wife, her testimony would be suspect at best. If the testimony is all that we can rely on, then we will never find out the solution. Perhaps we should see if there is anything at the scene that can contradict them. Well, we haven't discussed the problem of the lock yet either. Now that the suspects are narrowed down again, I think I found a common point. Do you remember the moment the Marquis first arrived at the tavern? I nearly forgot. The melted snow had damaged the heel of my shoe. I guess we thought of something. What do you think? Which evidence is related to the testimony? Oh, I get it! Because they were saying, like, her heel must have been fixed, right? Because they haven't mentioned anything. Like, they glued it together, and that's the stickiness we have on the door lock. I'm going for that. The lock. Indeed, I thought of something. And you didn't say nothing, bitch? Which part of the lock? What? Keyhole was sticky. The stickiness of the lock. Why? If my memory is right, the Marquise had ordered Sean to re-glue the heels of her shoes. The capital's high-end shoemaker usually makes shoes with a specific type of glue. Although the glue is easy to dissolve with cold water, those shoemakers still use it over anything else. Partly because no noble lady would be walking in water, but mostly because the glue has no odor to it. And I'd wager that Sean carries a jar of the stuff in case of an emergency. Oh, he does. The glue would explain why the door was stuck for no reason. Only a detective with your level of talent could find the connection between such things. Oh, a compliment from Elegant. I feel so special. Does that include your nose, by the way? Fuck you. Just because I got a big-ass nose. Which evidence can connect the glue, the lock, and the key? The smelling, right? Sniffing results. Well. Okay. The smell alone can't be used as evidence, but it does give me an idea. The smell of the lock and the key at the scene weren't the same. Now that I think about it, that means the key was plugged in after, so the key was inserted later. Pourquoi the Bard and Sean have seen the key was stuck in the lock when we came in. They're not the same one. Impossible! Oh, shit. What went wrong? Have you forgotten? The key cannot plug into each other's room lock. Every key is handmade by the good blacksmith. They look similar, but cannot be inserted into the wrong locks. I know that, but you don't have to insert it. The only thing that matters is if the key looks like it's inserted in. Looks like. I did see the key in the hole in the lock. If you break the key in half, then stick the shaft in the lock with the glue, then it wouldn't matter if it fit or not. Wild guess. The glue could be torn off. Mon chéri! Yes, but it would be quite difficult. If that's true, then I can tell you who the murderer is with ease. Just one thing, you can prove yourself innocent. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking that. Show everybody your key. It's simple, take out your room keys and open the door. Now let's begin with the most suspicious three. I'll believe you're all anxious to prove your innocence. It's my pleasure. We should have done this much sooner. Indeed. Well, take your keys and open the door one by one. Ladies first, mademoiselle. My pleasure, Marcus Harlock. Elegant took her key out and approached her door without hesitation. The key slid into the lock turn and the door opened. She's always so calm and certain. I dare say if she was the murderer, she'd be a terrifying culprit to face. Next, Marquis Harlock. If this can prove my innocence. Lunac took out his key and approached the door, though his hands trembled slightly. The key missed the hole once or twice, and I could see the sweat beginning to form in his fur. After several unsuccessful attempts, his wife stepped over to him, whispered something to him, and guided his hand. This time the key slipped easily into the keyhole and turned with a click, and Lunac's shoulders slumped in relief. Now the result is clear. Sean, it's your. We've opened all our doors, and there's only Sean left. It must be him. If all three keys work on their respective doors, it shows that Roma's hypothesis cannot stand. In other words, we will have to start over from the beginning. It is not foolish to jump so quickly to a conclusion. As you say. Sean, let's begin. Sean reached into his bag and froze. What? My key is missing. Maybe you should empty it to make sure. I don't think that will. Empty the bag. No! Damn. Lunik snatched the bag from Sean and dumped its contents on the ground. A dozen copper coins, a silver coin, half a key covered with glue, and a piece of blue crystal fell out on the carpet. Sean staggered back against the wall, clutching his vest tightly with both hands, and looked around with wide eyes. I've already guessed earlier. But what about the loud noises? Those had to be Kane's falling body. If I were the murderer, I wouldn't have had the time to kill him and prepare the medicine. The bell rang just after the noise of his collapse. I couldn't have had time to... No. Lunik just testified that you didn't come on time when he rang the bell. I was just a few seconds late. A few seconds couldn't buy me enough time to complete the tricks you made up, right? Tricks. Indeed, you were clever. What? For example, the loud noise. Not the sound of Kane's fall. It was not from Kane's falling body. What else could it be? Such a loud noise must be the noise of a falling body down. Oh, I have two pieces of evidence to prove that the voice was not caused by Kane's fall. Firstly, which evidence could prove that the loud sound wasn't caused to Kane's body? Kane's corpse in his room. Corpse was on the chair. His hand grabbing the dagger. Fatal injury in the chest. Kane's pendant was... Kane's corpse was on the chair. He fell into the chair. Even if you collapsed back with no support at all, most of the impact would be cushioned by the chair. If he fell back like that, there wouldn't have been nearly enough noise. So the sound of heavy objects falling to the ground was caused by something else. The second piece of evidence I want to present is the luggage, right? What caused loud sound? Luggage, right? The suitcases in Sean's room. As much as both, they're extremely heavy. Throwing them around would be more than loud enough. So you killed Kane, then went back to your own room, threw the suitcase, and rushed into the Marcus room. If you made the noise in your room, you could easily reach the Marcus room in town without arousing suspicion. Don't be ridiculous! Why would I kill someone I don't even know? We'll get to that. Quick Q&A. Oh, this one's... Weapon. The lethal weapon is... the dagger, right? The dagger. The dagger, of course. The murderer didn't cover this up. Method. Here's how things played out. Deductive reasoning arranged the occurrences chronologically from top to bottom by dragging the chips. Okay, first, the suspect glued half the key to the door. Then 5, the suspect locked the door from outside. 6, the suspect made a loud noise in his room. 2, the suspect burst Kane's door open. And 4, the suspect replaced the key with Kane's. This is the sequence of events. Okay, suspect. Obvious. I think it's obvious the murderer is. Who's the murderer? Aww. Oh, he has a ladle for his cross. That's cute. Sean. Sean. He had both the time and the motive. Nonsense! Be patient, I will explain the motive. Here it is. Though Sean denied that he had met Kane before, one thing caught my attention. There is a blue crystal in Sean's bag which looks just like Kane's pendant. Kane had worn that pendant for as long as I'd known him. Maybe you two were old friends. No need to answer that. I think I know why you killed him. Why do you say that? Two friends reunited after many years of separation, but instead of a happy reunion, all you got was rage. Let me guess, it's all about betrayal. What are you talking about? For example, you promised that you would recommend Kane to the Marquis when you got the chance. That's what Ines was saying, is like he wanted to work for Royal. I didn't say anything at the time, but I was like, hey, we got Royals here. What? I feel like I would look a lot smarter if I wouldn't say the stupid shit that comes in my head. I would say the smart shit that comes in my head. Because y'all know I say stupid shit all the time, no filter, but fuck. Then he would finally achieve his dream of becoming a cook for the nobility. Hey! But it seems that you didn't keep your promise because you didn't think you'd ever see him again. You two probably would never have crossed paths. Hey! You committed the crime when Cain lost his temper. Oh wow, that was quick. Let's begin. Case playback. Oh, I love it. Cain went upstairs after dinner, and you followed him soon after. One of Cain's actions confused me at the time. Touching his horn. He was spinning his necklace. I remember that. He had pulled off his pendant and was letting it hang from his hand. My guess, I think Cain was sending a signal to somebody. I recognize you. You noticed Cain's signal and followed him upstairs. You were talking in his room, and then the ring from the Bell Lunic's room happened. Oh, I love this art style up here, too. That was the first bell ring. Cain mentioned your betrayal and knocked over the mug and candlestick. That's the crashing sound we heard. You felt endangered when Cain faced you, so you decided to strike first with your dagger. He collapsed onto the chair without any noise. You took Cain's key, then broke your own key and stuck it in the lock with some glue you used to fix Solar's shoes. You didn't pull out the dagger because you feared that the blood would get on your clothes. After all, you only needed to deny that the dagger was yours. Then you went outside, locked the door from the outside, returned to your room, and made the noise by tossing the suitcase. Then the Marquise noticed you hadn't arrived and rang the bell for a second time. You entered to serve just in time. After that, you pretended to be surprised and ran out. You smashed the door open, then exchanged the key you had stuck in the door with Cain's key. And that's how it happened. Just admit it, Sean. You cannot escape my logic. Fine. I did it. Sean's transverse pupils looked straight at me, and I couldn't see any emotion in his eyes. Whether it was sadness, fear, or despair, I could not tell. I didn't expect that either. I was just scared. His appearance, panting, looming over me with those red eyes. It looked like he was going to. Sean's hands were shaking, grasping at his sleeve tightly. But you're the one who struck the first and deadliest blow. According to the Helios Code, whosoever murders the other person shall be hanged without special justification. What? So, let me get this straight. So you're saying, if a murderer comes into my house and I murder him because he was going to murder me, I'm hanged? Ain't that a bitch? Like, what? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, but your excuse is too weak to counter your punishment. I really don't want to be hanged. Isn't there any option for me? I can't say no. Even if we wanted to exercise the rights under the Helios Code.
In fact, we are going to apply Helios Code. Even if we, in the event that this case cannot be immediately brought to trial, as long as there is qualified detective present, a judgment may be pronounced under the detective's discretion.
Even if?
You will not escape judgment except what you...
Soren, let me finish. So I was trying to say, according to the code, You have 10 minutes to make your peace. If you don't want to be hanged, do something. Like a confession? It depends on your definition of confession. Alright. Sean set his handkerchief on the chair back, bowed his head, and meekly followed Saren up the stairs. Damn. Suddenly, several loud noises came from upstairs. What happened? I'm a little scared. Let me have a look.
Open the door, now!
Saren used his shoulders to batter open the door to Kane's room. What happened?
Sean ran inside and jammed the door with something.
The door swung open, knocking the nightstand aside. Did he kill himself? Sean leaned back against the chair where Kane was sitting, holding the dagger, sweating profusely. Oh no. He clenched his teeth, closed his eyes, and thrust the dagger deep in his stomach. Okay, saw that one coming. Thick blood gushed out of the blade and onto the handle, covering the fine carvings in a layer of crimson. Sean had used the same dagger to break the commandment of thou shalt not kill, but he also atoned for his crime with it. We just stood and watched the life slowly ebb from Sean's body.
Now we're in big trouble. When the snow stops, we need to go to the judiciary to testify. But we first need to take care of Sean and Kane. Roman, take this up to my bedside.
Saren threw me the key to Kane's room, picked up the broken key, and stuffed it into his pocket.
Davey, get Aaron up here and ask him if he can perform a funeral.
What?
If he refuses to perform funeral rites for a suicide, tell him Sean was hanged by me with Roman's permission.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. People who, back then, if he committed suicide, that was like, well, still, even now, that's considering defying God's will by dying, when you're not, like, when he doesn't want, like, he has to judge when you're going to die, and if you kill yourself, that means you are denying his judgment of your time, and blah, blah, blah. Aaron came upstairs with his rosary and his cross. I pulled down the ladder to the attic. The attic was dark. I started regretting leaving the candles downstairs. When my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I carefully walked around the trapdoor on the floor and hung the key on the key holder. I went back down to the corridor and met Saren dragging the body.
Roman, help me drag them down to the yard. As long as they're kept outdoors, they will not rot in the freezing cold. Aaron's already recited scriptures for them. When the snow stops, I'll ask the church to give them a decent funeral.
Oh, well. Dragging two stiff bodies, we went downstairs. In fairness, the only stiff body should be Kane's. He's been dead for a while. Sean, he should still be kind of loosey-goosey. Along with the spiral stairs.
Should we leave the dagger here or pull it out?
If we keep the dagger, that means nobody can take it and thus destroy evidence. But if we leave the dagger inside of him and put him outside, anybody could come along and take it. So I'm gonna say keep it. If I'm wrong, fuck me, right? Y'all don't watch so I can succeed stuff. Y'all want to see me fail. Keep it. Just leave it there for the coroner to confirm.
Right.
Saren opened the door and dragged Kane and Sean from the tavern. Maybe I'll go to sleep now. Went upstairs. All the doors are locked except for Kane and Sean's. Everyone went to bed, whether they can fall asleep or not. Bitch, I'm out! Shit, I'm falling asleep no matter what. That's one thing that you gotta be impressed about me. I am falling asleep no matter what. I need to go to bed too. Though I probably can't fall asleep. I locked the door, hid the key under my pillow, then blew the candle out. Oh, we're seeing. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Turns out you didn't forget me, Sean. Sure. So you just merely forgot the promise you made, right? So sorry I haven't had a chance to recommend you. No chance at all. Being the Marcus Valet don't bring you a single chance to even mention my name. Sorry. Even if you didn't fulfill your promise, I still hope that we could keep in touch. Don't smash things! Just wait a moment, don't be so angry! Even if you failed to keep your word, I always thought of you as a friend. Don't come near me! This is what I wanted to tell you after I calmed down. Fuck. But you never gave me the chance. Fuck. Like he said, he had anger problems. Like I said, he had anger problems, but he wasn't a bad guy. Well, now that shit's over. So we found out Sean was the murderer. Poor Kane. Man. See, this is the difference. If I was murdered by my friend, I want them to live, so I can haunt their ass for eternity. I'm petty, bitch! I will haunt you forever! I don't even care! I will wait until you die, then I will keep your soul, and I will forever just shake the shit out of you. Like, that's, I'm not lying! That's how fucked up I am in the head sometimes. Anyway, that trial was actually pretty quick, but in fairness, I'm used to like the 5-hour Danganronpa trials. Those shits would never fucking end. Sometimes it would piss me off. I'm like, oh my god, you're repeating the same shit over and over. But these ones are direct to the point, and I do appreciate that. Anyway, if you like what you see, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see my content in the future. Also, while you're here, if you have any game suggestions or you just want to say hi, leave it down in the comment section below. I'm DC Hyena, and I'll catch y'all in the next vid.